Tom was a human soldier. He worked hard and always followed the rules. He wasn't famous or strong like some other soldiers, but he had a kind heart. Many people said Tom was different from other humans. He liked helping others and didn't like fighting. One day, Tom was sent on a peaceful mission. It was on a faraway planet called Valora. The Valorians were gentle aliens. They were friendly and kind. Humans and Valorians had made peace a few years ago. Now, they were learning about each other's worlds. Tom's team came to Valora to help build water stations in small villages. Everything was going well at first. But then, something strange happened. There was a bright light in the sky. A strange energy made their machines stop working. Tom was checking the machines when the ground shook. He lost his balance and fell down. When Tom stood up, he was all alone. His team was gone. The machines were gone too. There was only quiet wind and tall green trees around him. He looked up at the sky. The twin suns of Valora were shining softly. The sky was light blue with soft white clouds. But Tom knew he had to find his team. He took a deep breath. "Stay calm," he told himself. "You can do this." Tom started walking. He followed a small path between the trees. The forest was peaceful. Birds with bright feathers flew above him. Small animals watched him from behind glowing plants. Tom smiled. Valora was a beautiful world. After walking for a long time, Tom felt tired. He sat down near a little stream. The water was clear and cool. He took a drink and rested for a while. Then he heard something. It was a soft cry. It sounded like someone calling for help. Tom stood up and listened carefully. The sound came again. It was close. Without thinking, Tom followed the sound. He moved quickly but carefully through the trees. Soon, he saw something strange. There was a young Valorian woman lying on the ground. She was caught under some fallen tree branches. She was wearing a silver robe that sparkled in the light. Around her neck was a glowing crystal. Her long hair was shining like silver threads. Tom rushed over. "Are you okay?" he asked kindly. The Valorian woman looked at him. Her eyes were bright like stars. She looked scared but hopeful. "Please, help me," she said softly. Tom nodded. "Don't worry. I will help you." He slowly lifted the tree branches. They were heavy, but Tom was careful not to hurt her. After some time, he freed her legs. Then he gently helped her sit up. She looked at him with wonder. "You are human?" she asked. "Yes," Tom answered. "My name is Tom. I am here on a mission. Are you hurt?" The woman shook her head. "I think I am fine. Thank you, Tom." Tom smiled. "I'm glad you're okay. What's your name?" She took a breath and said, "I am Alara, Princess of Valora." Tom was surprised. A princess. He quickly stood up straight. "Your Highness," he said. Alara smiled a little. "You do not need to be so formal," she said kindly. "You saved me. I am grateful." Tom helped her stand. She was a little shaky, but she walked slowly. Tom stayed close, ready to catch her if she slipped. "What were you doing out here, Princess Alara?" Tom asked as they walked. "I was learning about the forest," she said, "but then there was a strange energy. The animals ran, and I got scared. I fell and was trapped." Tom nodded. "I think the same energy made my team disappear. I was looking for them when I found you." Alara looked thoughtful. "Then perhaps we can help each other," she said. "I know the way back to the palace. You can come with me. Maybe we will find your team there." Tom agreed. "Thank you, Princess Alara." They walked together through the forest. The trees were tall and the air smelled sweet. Alara showed Tom how to listen to the birds. She said they could guide travelers if they got lost. As they walked, Tom felt peaceful. He didn't know why, but he trusted Alara. And for the first time since he got lost, he didn't feel alone anymore. Tom and Princess Alara walked slowly through the forest. The trees were tall, with golden leaves that moved gently in the breeze. Strange flowers glowed softly on the ground, lighting their path as they walked. The air was fresh and cool. It felt peaceful, but Tom stayed alert. He wanted to make sure Alara was safe. "Are you feeling better now?" Tom asked her kindly. "Yes," Alara replied. "Thank you for helping me. If you had not come, I might still be trapped there." Tom smiled. "I'm glad I was nearby." They walked in silence for a while. Tom listened to the sound of their footsteps and the soft songs of the birds. The birds on Velora sang sweet tunes that made him feel calm. Alara watched him closely. "You are not like I thought a human would be," she said. Tom looked at her with surprise. "What do you mean?" Alara smiled a little. "Many Valorians think humans are wild and loud, but you are quiet and gentle." Tom laughed softly. "Not all humans are the same," he said. "Many of us just want to live in peace and help others." Alara nodded. She liked the way Tom spoke. His voice was calm and honest. Suddenly, Alara stopped walking. Her eyes became wide. Tom noticed her face had changed. "What's wrong?" he asked. "Listen," she whispered. Tom stood still. At first, he heard nothing but the wind in the trees. Then he heard something else, something soft but strange. It sounded like a cry. "Someone is calling for help," Tom said. "No," Alara said, shaking her head. "That is not a person. It is a Veloon. It's a gentle creature that cries when it is scared." "Should we go and see?" Tom asked. Alara thought for a moment. "Yes, if the Veloon is hurt, we should help it." They followed the sound. It led them deeper into the forest. Soon, they found the creature. It was small, round, and covered in soft blue fur. Its large eyes were wet with tears. One of its legs was caught in some thick vines. "Oh no," Alara said softly. She walked closer and knelt down. "It's okay, little one. We will help you." Tom watched carefully as Alara gently untangled the vines. He was impressed by how kind she was. The Veloon stopped crying and made a soft humming sound. It looked at Tom, then jumped into Alara's arms. Alara smiled. "See, it's not afraid anymore." Tom chuckled. "You're very good with animals." Alara blushed. "I have spent much time in these forests. My mother says I have a gentle heart." They walked on, now with the small Veloon riding on Alara's shoulder. It hummed softly, as if singing a song just for them. After a while, they reached a river. The water was bright and clear, flowing gently over smooth stones. A narrow bridge crossed it. Alara stopped. "We are close to the palace," she said. "But first, we must cross the river." Tom looked at the bridge. It was made of silver ropes and wooden planks. It looked safe, but he wanted to make sure Alara crossed safely. "I will go first," Tom said. He stepped carefully onto the bridge and tested each plank. It was steady. "You can cross now." Alara smiled and walked after him. Halfway across, she stopped and looked down. The river sparkled like stars below them. "It's beautiful," she said softly. Tom nodded. "It is." They crossed safely and continued walking. Soon, the trees became thinner. In the distance, Tom saw something amazing. A large palace stood against the side of a mountain. Waterfalls flowed from its high walls. The palace shone like crystal in the afternoon sun. "That's your home?" Tom asked, amazed. "Yes," Alara said proudly. "Welcome to the palace of Velora." Tom couldn't believe it. It was more beautiful than anything he had seen on Earth. As they walked toward the palace, a group of royal guards appeared. They wore long robes and carried staffs with glowing crystals. They looked serious but kind. "Princess Alara," one of them called. "We have been looking for you." Alara stepped forward. "I am safe, thanks to Tom," she said. She smiled at Tom. "He saved me." The guards bowed to Tom. "You have our deepest thanks," they said. Tom felt shy but smiled politely. I'm happy to help, he said. Elira turned to him. Come with me, she said. My mother, the queen, will want to meet you. Tom followed Elira toward the palace. He had no idea that his life was about to change forever. Tom followed Princess Elira as they walked toward the shining palace. The guards stayed close, but they did not speak much. Tom looked around with wide eyes. The palace was even bigger up close. The walls were made of smooth white stone, and clear water ran through silver channels, making soft music as it flowed. The doors of the palace opened by themselves when they reached them. They were tall and covered with symbols Tom could not understand, but they were beautiful, like stars and suns dancing together. You are quiet, Elira said, looking at Tom with a small smile. Are you nervous? Tom shook his head. Not really, he said. Your world is just different. It's peaceful here. Everything shines. Elira nodded. Velora is a land of light and peace. My people love harmony. Tom smiled. I can see that. Inside the palace, the air was cool and smelled sweet like fresh flowers. The floor was smooth and shiny, and Tom could see his reflection as he walked. Soft lights floated above them, like tiny suns. Gentle music played from somewhere, though Tom didn't see any musicians. They passed many people in long robes. Some stopped to look at Tom. No one seemed afraid, but they were curious. Tom smiled and nodded politely. Some smiled back. Elira led him to a large room with tall windows. Sunlight poured in, making the room glow. At the far end was a woman sitting on a silver chair. Her hair was long and white, and her dress shone like morning light. Her eyes were bright, but kind. Mother, Elira said softly, bowing her head. This is Tom. He saved me in the forest. The woman stood. Welcome, Tom, she said. Her voice was calm and gentle. I am Queen Selene, ruler of Velora. Tom bowed. It's an honor to meet you, Your Majesty. Queen Selene smiled. You are very polite. That is a good sign. Tom wasn't sure what she meant, but he smiled back. Elira told her mother the whole story. How she got lost in the forest, how Tom found her and helped her escape from the fallen branches, and how they traveled together back to the palace. The queen listened carefully. When Elira finished, Queen Selene stood and walked closer to Tom. You are brave, Tom, she said, and kind. These are the most important qualities on Velora. Tom felt a little shy. I only did what anyone would do. No, the queen said, not everyone would. You cared for my daughter when she was alone. You made sure she was safe. That means much to me and to our people. Tom nodded, feeling warm inside. Thank you, Queen Selene. The queen turned to the guards. Call the council, she said. We have much to discuss. The guards bowed and left the room. Elira looked at Tom. Come with me, she said. I will show you the gardens while the council gathers. Tom followed her through the palace halls. They came to an open space filled with green trees and flowers of every color. Soft light made the leaves glow. Birds with silver feathers sang in the trees. Small animals with bright eyes played near a clear pool of water. This is my favorite place, Elira said. I come here when I need to think. Tom looked around. It's beautiful, he said. On Earth, we have gardens too, but nothing like this. Elira smiled. You will always be welcome here. They walked along a stone path. Elira picked a small flower with blue petals and handed it to Tom. This is a star blossom, she said. It is rare. It means friendship. Tom took the flower gently. Thank you, he said. I'm glad we are friends. For a while, they sat near the water, listening to the gentle sounds around them. Tom told Elira about Earth, about the oceans, the mountains, and the forests. Elira listened with interest. I would like to see your world one day, she said. Maybe one day you can, Tom replied. And maybe more of my people can visit Velora too. Elira nodded. That would be nice. A soft bell rang in the distance. "The council is ready," Alara said. She stood and brushed off her robe. "Come, Tom. The Queen will want you there." Tom stood and followed her. He held the star blossom carefully in his hand as they walked back into the shining palace. He had no idea what the council would say, but he was ready to listen. He was starting to feel like Valora was a place where he belonged. Tom followed Princess Alara through the bright halls of the palace. He held the little blue star blossom she had given him. It made him smile as he walked. Everything about Valora was beautiful and peaceful. But now he was nervous. He was about to stand in front of the council. He had no idea why. Alara glanced at him as they walked. "Don't be afraid," she said kindly. "The council will listen to you." Tom nodded. "I'll do my best," he said. They reached a large door made of crystal. 2 guards opened it slowly. Inside was a round room. The ceiling was high and painted with stars. Around the room were 12 tall chairs. Each chair was shaped like a different flower. On each chair sat a council member, dressed in robes of many colors. At the center of the room was Queen Selene. She stood when they entered. "Welcome, Tom," she said. Her voice echoed softly in the large space. Tom stepped forward. "Thank you, Your Majesty." Queen Selene raised her hand, and the council members all became quiet. "We are here today," the Queen began, "to speak of the human named Tom. He has saved Princess Alara and shown kindness in our time of need." Tom was confused. "Time of need," he whispered to Alara. Alara gave him a small, sad smile. "You will understand soon," she said softly. The Queen looked at the council members. "As you know, Valora is in a time of change. We need a new leader." The council members nodded slowly. "Our people believe in peace and love," the Queen continued. "But we also need someone brave, kind, and strong of heart." One council member stood. She wore green robes and had silver hair tied with flowers. "Queen Selene," the council member said, "we trust your wisdom. If you believe Tom is the one we need, we will listen." Tom's eyes grew wide. "Me," he said quietly. Another council member stood. He wore blue robes and had golden bracelets on his arms. Tom saved the princess. He protected her and brought her home. The old stories say that a true leader will come from an act of pure kindness. Tom felt his heart race. "I'm just a soldier," he said to Alara. "I'm not a leader." Alara smiled softly. "Maybe you are more than you think." Queen Selene turned to Tom. "Tom of Earth, we ask you to accept the role of King of Valora." Tom took a step back. "I am not ready to be a king," he said. The Queen smiled. "No one is ready, Tom, but your heart has shown us the way." The council members all stood together. They placed their hands over their hearts and bowed to him. Tom didn't know what to say. He looked at Alara. She nodded gently. "You do not have to decide now," Queen Selene said kindly. "Stay with us for a time. Learn our ways. Then you may choose." Tom took a deep breath. "I will stay," he said. "I will learn." The council members smiled. The Queen stepped forward and placed her hand on his shoulder. "You are welcome here, Tom," she said. "You have a kind heart. That is the first step." After the meeting, Alara took Tom to a quiet room with tall windows. The sun was setting, and the sky was painted with soft colors. "How do you feel?" Alara asked. Tom shook his head slowly. "I don't know," he said honestly. "I came here to help build water stations. Now they are asking me to be a king." Alara laughed softly. "Life is full of surprises." Tom smiled. "Yes, it is." They sat together by the window. Alara told him stories about Valora's past, stories of peace, kindness, and love. Tom listened carefully. He wanted to understand. He wanted to be worthy of their trust. That night, Tom slept in a quiet room made for guests of honor. He lay on soft blankets and looked up at the ceiling, which was painted with stars. He thought about Earth, about his team, and about this strange new world. King Tom, he said quietly to himself. It sounded strange, but maybe, just maybe, it could be true. He closed his eyes and dreamed of silver trees and bright skies. Tom woke up early. The soft light of Alora's two suns filled his room. The air was fresh, and the soft music of birds could be heard through the windows. For a moment, he lay still, thinking about the council's words. King Tom. It still felt strange. He was just a human soldier who came to help build clean water stations. Now, everyone was looking at him as someone special. Tom sat up and took a deep breath. Soon, there was a soft knock on his door. When he opened it, Princess Alara stood there with a smile. "Good morning," she said kindly. "Did you sleep well?" Tom nodded. "Yes, thank you." "Come," she said. "There is much to do today." Tom followed her down the long hallways of the palace. The floors shone like water, and lights floated gently above their heads. The palace felt alive, but peaceful. Alara brought him to a garden where Queen Selene waited. She stood next to a round stone table. On it were many small items, jewels, shells, and little silver figures. "Good morning, Tom," the queen greeted him softly. "Good morning, Your Majesty," Tom replied politely. "Today," she said, "we will teach you about Valora and its people. A king must understand those he leads." Tom listened carefully. He wanted to learn everything. Queen Selene showed him the items on the table. "These jewels," she said, "come from the mountains to the west. They are traded with the forest people for fruits and rare flowers." She picked up a silver figure. "This is a symbol of our people's promise, peace above all." Tom nodded. "On Earth, we have promises too, but sometimes people forget them." The queen smiled gently. "That is why leaders must remind them." For many hours, Tom listened and learned. He learned about Valora's 5 villages. Each village had its own special job. Farming, making clothes, crafting tools, growing healing plants, and keeping the ancient stories. "You must visit them all," Alara told him. "If you are to be king, you must know their hopes and dreams." "I will," Tom promised. After the lessons, Alara took him to the training grounds. But there were no weapons or shields. Instead, people stood in circles, holding hands. Some sang songs. Others played with soft light balls that floated between them. "This is how we practice strength," Alara said. "Strength of heart, not just body." Tom joined a circle. A gentle ball of light floated toward him. He caught it easily. It was warm and made him feel happy inside. He passed it to Alara, who smiled brightly. As the day went on, Tom realized something. The people of Valora didn't need a king to fight wars. They needed someone who could listen, help solve small problems, and keep everyone working together. "I think I understand," Tom said as they sat near a fountain. "A king on Valora isn't the strongest fighter. He is the one with the kindest heart." Alara nodded. "You are learning quickly." Later, they visited the village of Leora, where the farmers lived. Tom met the people and saw their fields full of strange fruits and vegetables. A young boy ran up to Tom and gave him a round yellow fruit. "Thank you for helping the princess," the boy said. Tom smiled and patted the boy's head. "Thank you for this gift." The farmers showed Tom how they worked together. They sang as they planted seeds and laughed as they harvested crops. Alara watched Tom as he joined them. He listened to their songs and helped carry baskets. The people liked him. They said he was kind and simple, not proud or cold. At sunset, Tom and Alara sat by the river that ran near the village. The sky was pink and gold. Tom felt calm. "You are doing well," Alara said softly. "The people already trust you." Tom smiled. "I still have much to learn." "We all do," Alara said. "Even a queen." Tom looked at her. "And even a king." They both laughed softly. The sound was warm and full of peace. As they returned to the palace, Tom thought about the next villages he would visit. He knew it wouldn't be easy to become king, but he was ready to try. And maybe, just maybe, he was starting to believe he could do it. A few days passed since Tom's visit to the first village. Now he was ready to visit more places on Valora. Princess Alara said the people wanted to meet him. They wanted to see the human who had saved their princess and who might soon be their king. But before visiting the other villages, there was something special happening. The Festival of Light is today, Alara told Tom as they walked through the palace gardens. It is one of the most important days for our people. Tom looked curious. What happens at the festival? We celebrate peace, Alara explained. We give thanks for the light that gives us life. We tell stories, share food, and give gifts of kindness. Tom smiled. That sounds wonderful. Alara nodded. It is also the time when leaders show their hearts to the people. Tom's eyes widened. What do you mean? You will see, Alara said with a soft laugh. Later that morning, Queen Selene invited Tom to stand with her on the highest balcony of the palace. From there, Tom could see the whole city of Valora. The white stone buildings sparkled in the sunlight, and colorful flags waved in the soft breeze. The people below were gathering in the great square. They wore bright clothes, and many held flowers or lanterns that glowed with warm light. The queen raised her hand. The crowd became quiet. People of Valora, Queen Selene spoke. We gather again to celebrate the light of peace and love. We welcome a new friend among us, Tom of Earth, who saved our daughter, Princess Alara. The people cheered and waved their lanterns. Tom stood still, surprised but happy. He gave a small wave back. Queen Selene turned to him. It is time, Tom. Time for what? He whispered. To share your light, she said gently. Alara led Tom down to the square. There, a group of children waited, holding small lanterns made of glass and gold. One by one, the children handed Tom a lantern. Inside each one was a tiny light that floated like a soft star. These are gifts, Alara explained. They are the hopes of our people. You will place them in the river. Tom nodded. Carefully, he carried the lanterns toward the river that ran through the center of the city. Alara walked beside him. The people followed quietly, holding their own lanterns. When they reached the water, Tom stepped onto a smooth stone platform. He knelt down and placed the first lantern in the water. It floated gently away, leaving a glowing trail behind it. One by one, he placed the rest of the lanterns in the water. Soon, the whole river was filled with soft lights, floating like stars in the night sky. The people sang a quiet song of peace. Tom listened to their voices. They were gentle and full of hope. After the song, Queen Selene spoke again. Tonight, we honor the light inside each of us, and we welcome Tom as one of our own. Tom felt something warm in his heart. He smiled and bowed his head. The people cheered again. Later, there was a great feast in the palace gardens. Long tables were filled with fruits, breads, and sweet drinks. People laughed and told stories. Some danced under the glowing lanterns that hung from the trees. Tom sat beside Alara, enjoying the food and the happiness around him. You did well today, Alara said softly. Tom smiled. It was easy. Everyone is so kind. You made them feel safe, she said. That is a true leader's gift. Tom thought about her words. Maybe he was becoming more than a soldier. Maybe he could be someone who helped bring peace. As the night grew dark, the lanterns in the sky glowed brighter. The people sat together and told stories of past kings and queens, leaders who brought peace to Valora. Queen Selene stood and raised her hand. The people became quiet once more. We are close to choosing a new king, she said, and we believe we have found him. She looked at Tom. Tom stood slowly. I am honored, he said. I still have much to learn, but I will give my heart to Valora. The people clapped their hands softly in agreement. Alara smiled at him. You are doing well, she whispered. As Tom looked at the glowing lights on the water, he felt something deep inside. He wanted to protect this peace. He wanted to be worthy of their trust. And for the first time, he believed he could be their king. The morning after the Festival of Light, Tom woke up early. He stood by the window of his room and watched the soft golden sky. Birds with bright feathers flew in circles above the trees. Velora was beautiful, peaceful, and now it felt like home. There was a quiet knock on his door. It was Alara. "Good morning, Tom," she said with a warm smile. "The council is ready. They wish to speak with you." Tom felt his heart beat faster. Are they going to choose their king today? Alara nodded. "Yes, but they are waiting for you." Tom took a deep breath and followed her through the shining hallways of the palace. As they walked, the palace staff smiled and bowed their heads. Some of the people placed small flowers on his path. It made him feel both shy and happy. They entered the council room once more. The 12 council members sat in their tall flower-shaped chairs. Queen Selene stood in the center, waiting for them. She smiled gently when she saw Tom. "Welcome, Tom," she said. "Please stand with us." Tom stood beside Alara. He tried to stay calm, though his heart was full of emotion. One council member, dressed in soft blue robes, spoke first. "Tom of Earth, you have walked among our people. You have shared their meals, heard their songs, and helped their work." Another council member, in green robes with silver flowers, continued. "You have shown kindness, respect, and understanding. These are the ways of Velora." Queen Selene raised her hands. "Today, we ask you a question. Will you accept the crown of Velora? Will you be our king, to guide our people with wisdom and peace?" Tom stood quietly for a moment. He thought about his old life on Earth. He remembered his work as a soldier, helping others in small ways. But here, on Velora, he could do even more. He could help a whole world. "I will accept," Tom said clearly. "But I will always keep learning. I will lead with my heart and listen to the people." The council members smiled and nodded. Queen Selene stepped forward and held a soft silver crown in her hands. It was shaped like leaves and stars. She placed it gently on Tom's head. The people in the room stood and placed their hands over their hearts. "Long live King Tom," Queen Selene said softly. The words echoed in the room. "Long live King Tom," the council repeated. Tom felt his heart fill with warmth. He smiled at Alara, and she smiled back, her eyes bright with happiness. After the ceremony, Tom walked through the palace gardens. Many people came to greet him. They brought simple gifts, flowers, fruits, and small lanterns. They thanked him for becoming their king. Tom spoke kindly to each one and listened to their words. Later, Alara joined him by the crystal fountain. They sat on a smooth stone bench under a tall silver tree. "You did well," Alara said softly. "The people are happy." Tom smiled. "I hope I can make them proud." "You already have," Alara replied. There was a peaceful silence between them. The fountain's soft sound filled the air. "Alara," Tom said quietly, "I could not have done this without you." She smiled. "You have done much by yourself, but I am glad I helped." Tom looked at her for a moment. He felt something new in his heart, something gentle and bright. He reached out and took her hand. It felt warm and soft. "I am glad you are here," he said. Alara's smile grew softer. "I am glad too." That evening, there was another celebration. It was smaller than the Festival of Light, but still beautiful. The people sang songs about their new king. They told stories of how Tom had saved Princess Alara and helped the people of Velora. Tom stood among them, feeling more at home than ever before. Queen Selene spoke quietly to him later that night. "You are not just a king because you wear a crown," she said. "You are king because you care." Tom nodded. "I will always care," he promised. The stars above Velora shone brightly that night. Tom knew there were still many things to do. He would visit all the villages again, learn more about their lives, and help them grow stronger together. But for now, he was happy. He had found a new home. He had found new friends. And maybe he had found something more. As he stood with Alara by his side, Tom felt sure of one thing. He would protect Valora with all his heart. The days after Tom became king were busy but joyful. He spent his mornings learning from Queen Selene and the council members. They taught him how to listen carefully to the people's needs and make decisions with kindness. His afternoons were filled with visits to the different villages of Valora. Everywhere he went, people greeted him warmly. Tom did not act like an important ruler. He sat with farmers while they worked. He helped fishermen carry their nets. He even played with the village children, laughing as they ran through the fields. The people liked that about him. They often said he was a king with a simple heart. One morning, Alara joined Tom as he visited the village of Mira. This village was known for its healers. The people grew special plants and made medicine that helped many on Valora. Tom watched as an elder named Jorah showed him how to crush blue leaves and mix them with silver water. "This will help those who are sick," Jorah explained with a gentle smile. "You are learning quickly, King Tom." Tom smiled back. "I want to understand as much as I can." Alara stood beside him, watching. She was proud of how much Tom had learned. He no longer seemed like an outsider. He spoke the Valoran language more easily now. He knew many of their customs and stories. He had become a true part of their world. After they finished their visit, Tom and Alara walked along a quiet path through the forest. The trees glowed softly in the afternoon light. Small animals peeked out from behind the leaves. "This is a peaceful place," Tom said. "Yes," Alara agreed. "I came here often when I was younger. It helped me think clearly." Tom stopped and looked at her. "Alara, do you think the people truly believe in me? I am still learning. Sometimes I worry I will not be enough." Alara smiled and took his hand. "You are enough, Tom. Not because you know everything, but because you listen. You care. That is what they see in you." Tom felt better hearing her words. "And what about you? Do you believe in me?" Alara looked at him softly. "I do." For a moment, they stood quietly, holding hands. Then they walked on, feeling lighter. Later that week, the council gathered again. They spoke of plans to help the villages grow stronger. Some villages needed new wells for clean water. Others needed help sharing their crops. Tom listened carefully to every voice. He did not give orders. Instead, he asked questions. Together, they made plans that everyone agreed on. One council member, an elder named Pavan, smiled after the meeting. "You are wise to listen before you speak," he told Tom. "That is the mark of a true king." Tom thanked him. He was learning that leading was not about power. It was about working together, sharing ideas, and bringing hope. One evening, Queen Selene called Tom and Alara to a quiet room in the palace. There was a large window, and through it, they could see the stars shining brightly. "It is time to speak of the future," the queen said. Tom listened closely. "Valora has not had a king and queen for many years," Selene continued. "But now our people hope for a new time of unity. They see you both as the heart of that hope." Alara looked at her mother, then at Tom. Her cheeks turned a soft pink, but her eyes were warm. Tom took a deep breath. "I care deeply for Alara," he said honestly. "She has guided me, helped me, and believed in me. I would be honored if she would stand beside me." Alara smiled. "And I would be honored to stand beside you." Queen Selene smiled as well. "Then we will prepare for a new celebration, one that will bring joy to all of Valora." Word spread quickly across Valora. The people were happy. They sang songs in the streets and decorated their homes with flowers and lights. The rivers glowed with floating lanterns again. It was a time of happiness and hope. Tom and Alara stood on the balcony of the palace, looking at the joyful city. "You have brought new life to our people," Alara said quietly. Tom shook his head. We did it together. As they stood side by side, they knew a new future was beginning for Velora, a future filled with peace, kindness, and light. And together, they would protect it. The day of the great celebration arrived. It was the day when Tom and Alara would be joined as king and queen of Velora. The whole kingdom was alive with joy. People from all villages came to the city. They brought colorful flags, flowers, and gifts. Music filled the air, and children laughed as they ran through the gardens. Tom stood in front of a large mirror in his room. He wore a new robe made of soft white cloth with silver threads. Around his neck was a simple chain with a small stone that glowed softly. It was a symbol of hope and peace on Velora. There was a knock on the door. It was Paven, the elder council member. He entered the room quietly. King Tom, Paven said with a kind smile, the people are ready. It is time. Tom took a deep breath and nodded. Thank you, Paven. As they walked through the long halls of the palace, Tom saw many familiar faces. The people he had met in the villages smiled and placed their hands over their hearts as he passed. He smiled back at them. It made him happy to know he was accepted, not because he had fought battles, but because he had shown kindness. At the same time, Alara was getting ready in her own room. She wore a beautiful dress made of soft blue cloth. Small stars were stitched into it with silver thread. Her mother, Queen Selene, helped place a simple crown of flowers on her head. You look lovely, my daughter, Queen Selene said warmly. Alara smiled. Thank you, mother. The doors of the great garden opened. It was a special place where the kings and queens of Velora were joined. Flowers of every color grew along the stone paths. Small glowing lights floated above the guests as they stood quietly, waiting. Tom walked into the garden and stood in the center. Soon after, Alara entered. She smiled at Tom as she joined him. The elder Paven raised his hands and spoke in a clear voice. We are gathered here to witness a new beginning. A new king and queen stand before us, bringing hope, peace, and unity to Velora. The crowd was silent, listening with full hearts. Tom of Earth, Paven continued, do you promise to guide Velora with kindness, to listen to the people, and to protect peace? I promise, Tom said firmly. Alara of Velora, Paven said, turning to her, do you promise to stand beside your people and your king, to lead with wisdom and love? I promise. Alara replied with a bright smile. Paven smiled. Then by the light of Velora, we welcome you both as king and queen. Soft music began to play. The people clapped their hands gently. Queen Selene stepped forward and placed a new crown on Alara's head. It was made of silver leaves and shining gems. Paven placed a matching crown on Tom's head. The two stood together, holding hands. The people cheered softly. Flowers rained down from above, carried by soft winds. After the ceremony, there was a great feast in the palace gardens. Long tables were filled with fruits, breads, and sweet drinks. People from every village sat together, sharing stories and laughter. Tom and Alara walked among them, speaking kindly to everyone. Tom helped an elder find a seat in the shade. Alara gave flowers to the children, who ran around happily. As the sun set, lanterns floated up into the sky. They glowed softly, like tiny stars. The rivers shone with lights as the people placed lanterns in the water, just as they had during the Festival of Light. Later that evening, Tom and Alara stood on the highest balcony of the palace. Below them, the people were still singing and dancing. The air was filled with joy. We have come a long way, Tom said quietly. Alara nodded. And there is still much to do. Yes, Tom agreed, but we will do it together. She smiled at him, her eyes full of hope. Together. From that day on, Tom and Alara ruled Velora with kindness and wisdom. They traveled to every part of the kingdom, listening to the people and helping them grow strong. They planted new gardens, built schools, and made sure everyone had enough food and water. Valora became a place of peace and light, and though Tom had once been a simple human soldier from a far world, he was now a beloved king. Not because he had power, but because he cared. And beside him, always, was Alara, the princess he had saved, the queen who believed in him. Together, they brought a new time of hope to Valora, and their story became one that the people told for many generations. The story of the human who became king, and the love that changed a world.